Looked over a few small things. The ladder on the back, the lock was kind of stiff, so some spray was added. I thought it was a missing grease fitting here, but this is probably a hole that's made that you can pull out the pin. I cleaned up the threads and added the grease fitting. That was a mistake, as it turned out. Tried adding a little bit of grease to the joints, the hinges on the door. Also on the ladder on the forwarder, one grease fitting here needed replacement. The door also had a bad grease fitting, so they were unbolted and replaced. The one on the door hinge had kind of a wide flange on it, and we didn't have any of those, so we just added a washer on it also to kind of help cover the hinge itself open, maybe reduce the amount of water that gets in there. Cleaning up a little excess. Also wanted to check the bogie mounts on the forwarder. Cleaned up the bolts to be able to get a tool in there. With the amount of broken bolts on the machines I found, I figured it would be best to check these, so I didn't have any of these broken, but all that I could check seemed to be good, at least. I checked the valve. I'm not sure if these are one-way valves or just open to the element. Should be, because I had one loose. I cleaned up all the gunk next to them. They looked a lot better, all of them, on the forwarder compared to the one that I had looked at on the harvester. And I had one loose and tried blowing and sucking through it, and it seems that you can blow through it but you can't suck, so it seems to act as a one-way valve. But I'm gonna ask the service people at some point if it should be a one-way valve here, as I think it might be. It allows overpressure to go away, but it can be a little under pressure in there. Check the bolts on the front, put all the valves back in place and covers. We knew we had a little leak on one of the wheels here, so I wanted to keep track of the oil level, and it was a little low. I also had purchased a sight glass that I tried fitting. We will see if that will survive in that position. Engine oil level was a tiny bit low on both machines, so put a liter more in the forwarder and 2 more liters in the harvester. Check the coolant also, since the hood was open, and I've seen when it was really cold at some point a tiny bit of coolant seemed to be seeping out through one of the hoses that was tightened up. Tried putting grease in here in the dead hole. It's made so you can pull the pin out, I guess. So, and I found a hole on the side here that was covered in dirt, so fitted the grease fitting here and could get some grease in there. The grease fitting couldn't be left on there, because when you tried folding it up it would have broken the grease fitting off. I think this entire ladder has been broken off and welded back on at some point, maybe at a slightly different angle. Checked the few spots where I've had leaks, and tried looking at some of the hoses that are a little damp, if anything substantial could be seen, but nothing that would be an emergency. Topped off the hydraulic oil, just sucked some in with using that electric pump, filling up 10 more liters in it. Also grease the wheel that seems to be leaking, but here I think we're looking at replacing the gasket.